we go. Okay.
My phone keeps falling over.
Okay, so Maria, you're gonna go for the introduction, or you want me to go do that?
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
Can everybody see me?
Yes, that's
okay.
good.
So
Perfect.
we want to apologize. We're running a little late today. Both me, the host, and our guest today, Tekela Ferguson, we're having a little bit of technical issues connecting. So we're here now, and we want to welcome you to Conversations in the Den, and introduce you to our guest, Tekela Ferguson. Amazing woman who has survived, at the age of 25, has survived a stroke. And I'm going to be allowing, Jennifer's going to be running this conversation today because my technology is really just acting up. So,
Yes.
Jennifer's going to be having the conversation. So here's Jennifer, my co-host.
Thank you.
Co-host.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so
well, listen, we're glad we can see your pretty face still. So don't move your camera because I still want to see your pretty face. Tekela, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on our show. We really appreciate it. No, I know that. Am I saying your name correctly, Tekela?
Yes, just like the drink.
I love it. Just like the drink. Yes.
I think after all the technical issues, I think that's what I need right now.
We're passing the straw around. COVID or not, we're passing the straw around.
Exactly.
And Tekela, you had a stroke. You were 25. How long ago was that?
I'm 38 now, so it's been past 10 years or so.
That was what, 13 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so Tekela, prior to the stroke, what were you feeling?
Well, I had what they call a AVM, which is arterious venous malformation, and it's where your blood vessels are tangled into, once they get to a particular size, they burst. And it's something that you're born with. It's only one. It's a very, very rare disease. Maybe one in every 50,000, I believe, have it.
Well, girl, you're gifted. You regardless of for whatever reason you have it, the birth happened, and you are still here.
Yes, I'm blessed.
We thank the Almighty for that.
Yes, truly, truly blessed. And when I had
on the day of the incident, what transpired? Tell us your testimony of your journey.
The day that it happened, actually I had to work that morning. Previously, I was a licensed hairstylist. It wasn't time for me to go into work, but when it happened, my mom was home at the time, and I know it was God, she called in that morning. She didn't go to work that morning. So I woke up with a tremendous bad headache. I couldn't, it's like this one, like a hammer was hitting me in my head. So I decided to get up, and I was going to try to take a Tylenol. But by the time I got to the refrigerator, I couldn't swallow. So I made it back to her room. And by the time I made it back to her room, my whole left side went out. I just completely drooped my left side, and I couldn't feel anything. And she called the ambulance. The ambulance came to the house, and Of course, by me being young at that particular time, their first thing was thinking I had an overdose. I had drunk too much, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. So they're
I
questioning
don't
me.
think that they have a right to try to deduce those things. I think they need to look at the medical situation at hand.
Right. And they were questioning me, did you possibly drink that too much the night before? Did you smoke or anything? My mom is trying to tell them she doesn't drink, she doesn't smoke, she's having a stroke. So I was airlifted to the trauma center, and they took me straight to have MRIs.
You have to tell that story, because that story is amazing.
When they told me I was going downtown, because in Atlanta, the traffic here is horrible. And I couldn't get, with a stroke, you have to think fast. You have to move fast so you don't lose anything. So they told me they were going to take me downtown, which I was thinking it was going to be downtown to my local hospital, which is only like 5 minutes away. But I didn't know they were thinking downtown Atlanta. And they said, well, we're going to have to airlift you. And I'm thinking, airlift me? Like, I have never been in a helicopter, and this is the scariest
this is going to be the time.
Yeah, that I have to go to get in a helicopter. And the helicopter got clearance from a local school to land on their football field. So the helicopter landed, and it was just amazing. Like, I'm feeling all this air blowing up against me. Like, really, I have to get in this small little area where only I can fit, the helicopter driver can fit, and the nurse can fit. So it was no room to move around. But I got to the hospital in probably less than 10 minutes. And when I got there, it is the exact scene that you see when you maybe see these like residents or other hospital movie TV shows that you may see. It is that exact scene. When you get there, they're rushing out, the helicopter is still moving, and they're rushing you into the hospital, into whatever area you need to go.
You landed on the roof of the hospital?
Yeah, exactly, on the roof.
You were a medical celebrity then.
A movie all on your own.
And then when I see different scenes in TV shows or something, I'm like, this is exactly what I went through. This is exactly the same thing that they did. And when I pass the hospital sometimes, because if anybody knows, Grady Memorial Hospital is the biggest hospital in Atlanta. It's the biggest trauma unit in Atlanta. And when I pass the hospital, sometimes when I go downtown Atlanta and I see the clearance for the helicopter, I'm like, this is the hospital. This is where I landed. This is what helped save my life. Because
so Tekela, I got to tell you, girl. So you remembered your 10 minutes of fame.
Yeah. And I remember when I got in the hospital, it was a guy that was rushing me to MRI. And of course I was crying because I didn't know what was going on. And to this day, I'll never forget what he told me. He was like, don't cry. He was wiping my tears, and he was telling me, you're going to be okay. They're going to take care of you. So wipe your tears. You're going to be okay.
Wow.
And that always have stuck with me, to have that, no, he didn't know my story. He didn't know what I was going through. But just to have that love when you first walk into the door, somebody's rushing you to have an MRI done, and that support right then and there, it makes you feel like, okay, I can be tough. I can be strong. Okay.
Yeah, somebody quiet your spirit.
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
So you can endure what you're about to endure.
We thank God for that person and their their love of obviously their job, because there are many people who work in hospitals that don't love their job. So the
Right.
fact that he loved his job enough that you, a stranger, he would find it in his heart to comfort you during that time. We have to thank God
Exactly.
for that blessing.
Exactly. And he
Mhm.
doesn't know, how much that made me feel. And
Yeah.
then, to come back and afterwards, and they're trying to explain, I had never heard of this disease before. It's kind of like a aneurysm, but I never had heard
Mhm.
of it before. My parents knew nothing about it, but
Okay, so
when you have a good
you didn't know you had this ailment.
no, because it's something
Okay.
the from research they say it's something that you're born with. And by me being born in 82, we didn't have that kind of research where they have now,
Okay,
where
okay,
they
you're trying to make us feel old right now.
no, not at all. Not at all.
I agree.
Not
I,
at all.
I agree.
Look,
She's trying to make me feel old.
I'm getting up there too. I'm knocking on 40 slowly. It's coming.
Tekela,
Well, thank God that you're knocking on 40.
Right.
yeah.
You
Listen,
know,
Exactly.
tell me about getting
Exactly.
that.
so following this ordeal, being transported by helicopter and all the drama, and Idris Elba was your nurse, and so following all of that, um what transpired? Like, did you have to have surgery in the hospital?
I didn't have surgery till probably 6 months, about 5 or 6 months later, because they had to do a lot of angiograms to find the particular
Oh,
spot.
because they had to deduce where the clot really was.
Yeah, and then I had to have several MRIs, CT scans. I was like going to the doctor every 2 weeks or so, every week,
Mhm.
twice a week, to figure out, because I
That's
had
okay.
the
If it saves your life, they can
yeah,
take you to the hospital every
exactly.
day. I'm
Every
okay.
day. Yeah,
You know.
it didn't matter to me, because I had the chance to either do radiation or do the brain surgery. And the thing with
Okay.
the radiation is it could possibly come back. And I
Okay.
didn't want that over my head, constantly thinking, well, could it come back today? Could it come back tomorrow? And I just didn't want to have that over my head,
Mhm.
over my shoulders. So
Yeah.
I talked to my family about it, and we all just agreed that brain surgery would be the best bet. So leading up to brain surgery, I was still going to therapy, because during the stroke, I had paralysis on my whole left side. So I had
Okay.
to learn how to reuse
So
my left
whatever
side.
this so this situation was on your right side of your brain.
Yeah, I had the surgery on the right side of my brain. If I had the picture, I didn't even think to get the picture to show you guys of the right side of my brain, how they did. I had about 75 staples in my
Wow.
head from the
And they had to shave your hair, of course.
yeah, I
And you
had to
know
have
that we
all
all
of
love
this.
that one.
Yes, everything. I wish I had have took the picture out so I
No, it's
could have
okay. We
showed
don't
you
want to see it.
guys. Yeah, I wish I would have took, because at that particular time I just told my mom just to go ahead and shave my whole head and let
Mhm.
everything start growing back at one particular time. But I do have indentions going from here all the way back of how they
Wow.
shaved my head. And I was told that, of course, they had to crack my skull, go in, and I have a little plate a size of a saw, like a small square with 4 screws, where they had to close my skull back together.
Oh wow.
So I
So
have
when
that
you
in
go
the
to the
front and the back.
airport, so when you go to the airport, you have to disclose that to them.
No, that was the
No?
first thing I was thinking. Because of the type of metal that they're used, it can't be
Mhm.
detected. It won't,
Oh, okay.
set anything off.
Right.
Maybe when
Mhm.
I go through the airport, they probably can see it, but it won't set, that always metal inside of her body or anything, because of the type of metal that they
Oh,
use.
okay.
So going through all of that, it totally made my faith stronger. It made
Mhm.
me stronger as a person. And it
Man.
told me, it showed me that I can endure anything.
Mhm. And that
And
God wants you here. God
yeah,
wants you here for a reason.
and I know
Not
that
even
I'm
knowing
still
that you had
here.
this inside of you all from birth. Like, I
Right,
mean, my goodness. But
right.
God knows everything. He knows from the beginning to the end.
To the end,
He, you know,
exactly.
so he gave your
Exactly.
mom in that mind. He put your mom in the mindset to stay home from work that day,
Right,
so that she could be there for you to go through this with you.
right. And I've told my testimony over and over, which I don't mind because I never know who is going to help and
Yeah.
what somebody else may be going through. But going through it, and when I look back and I see certain things in my life, I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't go through this just for myself. I could have went through this for somebody in my family, a friend that was going to be going through something, and they can look back on, wow, Tekela went through that and she survived. So
Hmm.
I'm going through this. I can push myself to continue to do what I need to do to survive what I'm going through.
Yes.
So,
So I'm truly
Tequila,
blessed.
Tequila, tell me about you had surgery 6 months later. Tell me about rehabilitation. What did that look like?
Well, they did tell me that it was a possibility because where my blood vessel was, that I could go back to the stage of where I was when I had the stroke. So it was like kind of weighing, like, will I go back to having paralysis on my left side? Because I was left after the stroke, I was left with left-sided weakness in my hand. And
Okay.
I still have that to this day. I still have left-sided weakness in my hand. Because like if I try to pick up something, I have to actually look at it to know that it's in my hand. And
Okay.
so they kind of prepared me that it's a possibility that you're going to go back to where you was with the stroke. So when I did have the surgery afterwards, they took me into the recovery room and then they took me to my room. And I'll never forget, the doctor asked me, see, can you move to the bed by yourself? But we're going to be here to slide you over if you can't. And I actually slid over into the bed by myself. And he was so amazed. And he was like,
Hmm.
you did this all by yourself. And we were thinking that you were gonna have some type of weakness not to do this and not to be able to do this on your own. And then the day after, they came and they tried to walk me in the hall, thinking that, I couldn't walk, got out of the bed, and I was
Wow.
able
The
to
day after.
walk
Wow.
by myself. And I
So
prayed,
you had super girls on your chest.
right. I said,
They
I'm
thought,
not,
she's gonna
yeah,
she's just
exactly.
gonna get up and walk.
And I prayed and I prayed and I was like, God, you got me. You're going to take me where I need to be. I'm not going to let this hold me down. I'm not going to have no pity party. I survived one thing and I'm going to survive this brain surgery. And I got up, I walked each day. They told me the therapy came in and told me to walk because they didn't want me to lose my strength. And
Hmm.
I did what I had to do. And when my mom, she stayed home with me, she got me up every day. We walked up and down the steps. We would walk outside to give me fresh air. And I mean, I survived it all.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, Tequila, tell me about leaving the hospital. How long were you in the hospital for? And when you leave, what happened after that?
Well, for the stroke, I stayed in ICU for a week and a half. And because I had, when you have a stroke, they have to see if you're able to eat by yourself, because of course you're on all liquids at that particular time, because I had the paralysis on the left side. And I kid you not, when the doctor came and told me I was able to eat solid food, the first thing I wanted was McDonald's. Like, I want a cheeseburger. I asked for 2 cheeseburgers and a large fry and a drink. That was what I wanted my first meal to be.
My
And
husband asked for milkshake, cheeseburgers, and fries.
right, that is like, you don't think to want a hearty meal. Like,
Yeah.
you want what you used to eat on kind of like when you're sneaking and eating, but that's what I asked for: 2 cheeseburgers, a medium fry, and a large drink.
Yeah.
And when I came home for brain surgery, the first meal that I had, I wanted fish. So I asked for a fish meal, and my best friend, she brought me that. I wanted fish and mozzarella sticks. So she brought me that to the hospital. And when I got home,
stop eating all this fried food, miss.
yeah, I do, because I've gained weight, I lost weight, I gained weight, and I lost weight. But right now, this is the heaviest I've ever been in my life, because I was like 100. I was a real little, like 100, 105, 110. I never got past that.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
Okay, so you were a little petite little thing.
Yes, I was all from high school up until when I got sick. I was like a 00. So I was never big. But now when people see me, they're all, oh my God, Tekela, you actually have weight on you. Like, I can't believe you have weight. So I'm actually enjoying the weight that I'm at now, because I've never been this big before. Yeah. So when I got home from the surgery, I just did, I tried to get used to not having hair, because I lost a lot of weight from the surgery. I probably was at like 85 pounds then.
Ooh,
and wow. I tried to get used to that. And I tried to get used to, because I was doing therapy at home myself during that time. So I went to like a little.
I commend you on that, because, that's a fighter. Only a warrior can do that. You go home and, most of us, you're so tired, because we know both Jennifer and I both had strokes. So we know about stroke fatigue. We know how tired you get. And
exactly.
For you to fight through that battle and do that on your own, I can only commend you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Tekela, tell me about life, because you've had the stroke, you're in rehab, you're doing everything you can to recover. You've been fighting through all of this. You fought from the minute you dropped to the floor beside your mom, all the way, all the hundreds of MRIs or dozens of MRIs, into surgery 6 months later, leaving ICU, you're going home, you're doing rehab, but now life. Now you're 25, you're probably 26 at this point. Your friends are getting married, they're dating.
Exactly.
They have jobs. What did that look like for you?
I would say, because I had a good support team, I had people that showed me, that was always coming by, because at that time, it was sometime my mom took off for work for almost 8 months to be by my side. And then I would have I had my grandparents come up to give her a break. And then sometimes she wanted to go to church. So she would call my best friend, and she would come over and sit with me until she go to church and come back. And then sometime when she just wanted to have a mental break, she would ask somebody to come and just sit with me, because she didn't want to leave me by myself. And at that time, I had my little brother. He was in middle school, but he knew what I was going through, and I had to have somebody walk me to the bathroom and just wait by the door, and he would do it for me. And I just didn't want to put him in that position, but he's like, you're my older sister, you're going through this, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna help you. And I did go through times.
What a beautiful spirit.
Yes. And I did go through times I'm like, okay, I don't have any hair. I don't want to go out. I was wearing scarves when I had to go out. And I'm like, well, I wonder if people are looking at me like, what's wrong with her? She's walking slow. So life was taking a change because I'm looking at
Well,
my
absolutely. Well,
friends.
you're 25. I mean, at 25, let me tell you, I was in the club dancing. I was having a good time.
Right.
So
And
I, I,
I'm like,
I can
my,
appreciate at 25, what you were seeing in the world, what you
right.
were seeing your friends doing, all those things that you felt you were missing out on.
Right. And I went through a little time where I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do that. My friends are going out. I'm seeing, at that time, it was my space out. So I'm like, I'm seeing them go do things on MySpace. They're posting pictures. And my heart was into doing hair. I absolutely love doing hair. And it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't go back to work. Will I ever be able to go back to work? But I was motivated that I was going to go back to work. I was going to do hair again, some
Mm-hmm.
way, somehow.
Okay.
And once all of that kind of settled down, I got my strength back. I was able to do something. I remember my friend, for her, I think it was her 27th or 28th birthday. Um my hair was still low cut, and she had a big party, limo and everything. And I was like, I don't want to go because everybody looks nice. I'm little, I don't have any weight on me. What can I possibly, I don't look pretty. I don't want to go when everybody, and they all was calling, you're going, Tekela, you're going. You are not sitting in the house. You're gonna go find your outfit. So that made me feel good because they were trying to
Yeah.
Yes,
push me,
that's
like
wonderful.
go. We're gonna go
Yeah.
out. We're gonna have a
Yeah,
good
we got you.
time.
We got you, girl. We got you.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
I actually did go out that night. I went and bought a wig, bought me an outfit, and I went out. And that was the first time that I had actually been out the house without my mom, because I was staying, because I did have a scared part in me, like, what if
Of
something go
course.
wrong
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know what to do? My mom's not here. My
Yes.
mom's is the only person that knows how to take care of this problem, because
Yeah.
the first time I had a seizure was like right after I had the brain surgery. It was actually a week
Yeah.
after I had the brain surgery. I had just got off the phone with one of my friends. We had been on the phone for several hours. And I was like, I'm going to get into bed and go to sleep. And this feeling just came over me that I had never had before. So I called my mom downstairs and I told her something is wrong. And I was still on the phone with my friend. And I told her, I
Mm-hmm.
said, something is not right. I feel funny. So she clicked over. She called my mom. She was like, I think you need to go upstairs and check on Tekela because she's telling me something is not feeling right with her. And my mom said, my skin was kind of flush,
Mm-hmm.
and she knew something was about to go on. They called the ambulance. My sugar level was extremely low. And by the time I made it to the hospital, my mom was sitting beside me. When I got into the hospital, they put me in the room. I went into a full grandma seizure.
Wow.
And that's when they said that I would probably start having seizures from now on, because my brain was tampered with,
Yes.
and I would start having seizure from now
Yes.
on.
From what I understand, most people that I'm aware of that have had brain surgery tend to have seizures.
Right, right. But
It's
mine's are,
the
go ahead, I'm
tequila.
sorry.
So tell me, how often do you have these seizures? And from the age of 25 to now, like how often do you have them?
Um, right, because when I started having them, they were putting me on different medications. I was on
Mm-hmm.
trials for different medications just to see what would work with my body. Right
Yeah.
now, I'll probably say about 5 years ago, they actually find the right formula to fit my
Oh, okay.
body. So from
So it took
starting
quite a while.
from, yeah, it took me quite a while to find what would work with my body. So from 2007 up to now, I probably have had, I can't even count have how many seizures I've had, because sometimes I can have one and then I'll turn around and have another one back to back. And it's
Wow.
so funny because where I live at, the paramedics know me. When they come, there's
That's
like,
not a
okay,
good thing.
Well, how you hate
yeah,
Tekela?
yeah, there's like, okay, I
Wow.
was here the last time she had a seizure. I know what she, what it is, how many have she had, what is the min. So the paramedics in my area, they know
They know
me
how
and
to
they
take care.
know what
Know
it,
how to
yeah,
take.
they know what to have. Yeah, exactly.
That's comforting. But tell me about family, because everybody's having families. They're 27, they're 28, they're 29, they're getting married, they're having families. What about you?
I don't have any kids. And the way I look at that is, I think about, it would have been hard for my mom to take care of me and to take care of a child while
That's
I was going through all of that.
very
And
wise.
I don't think that she could have handled it. It would have been too much for
Yeah.
her to try to
Yes.
nurse me back to health and then seeing about a baby or
Yeah.
a child that's in school. I just know she couldn't have been able to do it.
And you've come to you've come to accept that, you won't have children, and that's okay.
Right.
You've
Right.
accepted that.
I have two beautiful nieces, and they see me they see me as they see me as their they I see them as their mom too. When they want something, they're calling me. When they can't get what they want, they're calling me. And with the
Yeah, so
school
you don't have a void.
system,
You don't have a void that needs to be filled. That void is filled with the love
yeah,
of your nieces.
you're so right. And I I help out. One of my nieces was my brother's child. My brother passed away in 2014.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Sorry.
she was only 6 weeks old when
Wow.
he passed away.
That's
So
hard.
we have a part of him through her.
Ah,
And I
what
look
a
at
blessing.
her as she's our little blessing. And I'm helping her right now with the virtual learning. So she's here
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
with us with the virtual learning. I, get up in the morning, fix breakfast, fix lunch. I bathe. I have to do all of that as if she's my child.
Yes.
So her birthday is coming up, and I'm like, okay, you're 6. We're gonna do this big photo shoot. TT's gonna go all out for you. So she's literally like my baby. And my other niece, she lives out of town, but she comes up for all the holidays. So
Yes.
that's my void right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've been doing Amazon shopping for them, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be shopping for myself, but I'm doing all the
You-
Amazon shopping for my nieces.
your babies were made long before you even think about them. You got 2
Right.
babies, and you're set. You don't need any more.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
Listen,
look and I say, they would be, I don't think they could handle it if I was to have a child,
yeah.
because they're so used to me, just like literally fight over me. Like, no, that's my TT. No, it's not. That's my TT. And I'm like, I'm both of you guys TT. So don't worry about it.
I
But
love it.
I
I love it.
know God put those two in my life for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yes, I mean, we're so sorry that your brother passed away, but at least he left you with something that could comfort
right.
you.
Listen,
And,
yeah, Tequila, tell me about dating.
yes.
They with quarantine, of course,
No, after,
it is
before quarantine.
extremely hard.
Tell us about dating before quarantine.
You know what? Me and my girlfriends talk a lot about dating. It's actually hard. And the reason why I say it's hard for me, because I don't drive due to having seizures.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
you cannot drive.
And I tell people, I try to be upfront with people when I talk to them, and I tell them about my situation. And if you don't think that you can handle it, then
absolutely
don't talk. We're not going to even try to move to the next level, because I don't want me to get adjusted to you, and then if something happens to me, I get sick, or the seizures come on, or something like that. You don't think you can handle it, and then you tell me, and I'm to that point where I really, really like you, and I feel like we can move to another step, but then you feel like what you're going through is too much. So that's why I feel like.
But I'm going to tell you something, girl. I'm going to tell you something. God has a plan, and they say sometimes you have not because you ask not.
Right.
And I remember, I'm going to tell you a small story that has nothing to do with this, but I've been speaking to a few people, and I was getting a little confused because I wasn't sure who was there for me and who was there for themselves.
Right.
And so I prayed, and I said, God, now I'm a prayer like this. I ask God to give me what is best for me. I don't ask him specifically for things because he knows what's best. What I could be asking him for, it could be the worst thing for me.
Exactly.
But so I said a prayer. I said, God, let me know. I need somebody who's going to take care of me, who's going to look out for me, who's going to be there for me and support me as I go through through the future of my life. And somebody that I've known for 28 years that I have not spoken to in quite some time called me out of the blue.
Right.
And said, I need to speak to you. And is it okay if I come by? And he wants to take care of me. He wants to be there.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, the words that I spoke to God are the words that he spoke to me.
Wow.
When I said, God, I want somebody who's going to take care of me, provide for me, look out for me, support me, be there for me, help me, lift me up, build me up, and, encourage me. When we had a conversation, because he was here we have Canadian Thanksgiving last weekend. Well, Monday was Canadian Thanksgiving. And and he came and cooked for me, and
oh wow.
We had this, we prayed and thank God for bringing us together after all these years. I mean, it's been 28 years.
Wow. Maria, tip your camera. Tip your phone down, please, honey, so I can see you. Tip your phone down. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she can't see us. She can't see us, Tekela, because she's got a different app.
I can't see.
Yeah, so we have to tell her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she can't. That's part of our
that's better.
Part of our technical difficulties today. So listen, Tekela.
It's just really funny. So I'm telling you this only to say, I'm not saying that you need a man in your life. You don't necessarily need a man in your life. I mean, I'm 5 years post-stroke, and I haven't felt I needed a man in my life. But because I've been having people dibbling and dabbling in my life, I just wanted clarification. And so I just spoke to God about it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, 4 days later, I get this phone call. And I'm like, wow, okay. And then he comes over and he said, I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with you. And his family's calling him, his dad, his mom, his stepmom, because his mother passed away, his sisters, everybody's calling him to come for Thanksgiving. And he's like, no, I already have plans.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah.
And he cooked dinner for me, and we sat and we prayed, and he said, God, I'm thanking you for bringing me here because I want to take care of Maria. I want to be a provider for her. I want to be able to lift her up. I want to build up her strength. And she has done so much for others.
Right.
So it's time for somebody to do something for her. And I
want
to be that person.
That's wonderful.
So I mean, I have no idea. Like, I'm not saying that this is my husband. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I have no clue. But what I'm saying is, when you ask, the Bible says, ask and you shall receive.
Receive, yes.
So if that is what you really, truly want, then...
Yeah, because I do eventually, one day I want to get married. I do eventually, want to have that
Listen, girl, I'm
significant
61
other.
and I still want to get married.
Right. And I don't blame you at all. But I wanted to be with the right person. I do have someone that I was dating at a time, and he was very supportive of
I need that.
everything. And if he didn't hear from me for a day, if I didn't answer the phone, it was like, okay, I gotta call Tequila Mama, make sure she hasn't had a seizure, she's not in the hospital or this and that. So that's what he would do. But he has a lot going on in his life right now. And I told him, I can't take on your problems
No,
to
you
bring
cannot.
them into my life. So until you can get what's going on with you straight,
exactly. No,
and if I'm
no, they
still
have to put their mask
available,
on first.
and if I'm
Like
still
in the airport,
available,
they say, you have to save yourself first.
yes,
We are not here to save them. They have
right.
to save themselves. And
Tequila, tell me about you now. Like, what about work? Like, how is that affecting you? Like, I know, I mean, that's something that stroke survivors talk about all the time is work. Not, we have brain damage, and I mean,
Right.
let's face it. Most of us get kicked out of the workforce.
Yeah,
What
I
you?
did. After I did have the stroke and the brain surgery, I waited for about 4 years, and then I finally, a friend of mine, she owned her own salon, and she let me come in and work in her salon. I did go back. I worked in the salon, and I got back to doing me, and then what I enjoyed. This was something that I would do for free because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then I end up
That's
going
what they say.
to
Do what you love, and it will never feel like you've worked a day in your life.
right, and then I end up going to another salon, but I did end up having a mini stroke, and I just felt like it was taking a lot of out me. So I went back to school for medical billing and coding, and I got another job working at an oral surgeon's office. And probably within 4 months of the job, it got very stressful because at that time I hadn't had a seizure in almost 2 years. And the
Wow.
job got very stressful, and I ended up having a seizure at the job.
Oh,
And
dear.
from there, I said, my mom talked to me. She was like, maybe you need to just file for your disability because now you're started back having seizures, and a lot of stuff is
Every
going on
time
in
you
your
have a
life.
seizure, it kind of sets you back a little bit.
Yeah. And then from there, when I stopped, seizures started ongoing because I think I was going through a lot of stress at that time. Then I started having more seizures and more seizures, and it got to the point where I was having them maybe 2 times a week, and that never happened.
Wow.
And I ended up filing for my disability, and I was granted my disability. So now I have I'm at home. I do things at home. I try to I try to walk. I do arts and crafts. I make wreaths. So I just try to do things to
do what you love to do.
Yeah. I go on YouTube and I just look and try to find things that say, oh, okay, I could try to make this or try to make that. Let me go get some supplies and see if it's gonna come out the way that they did it on YouTube. So that's what I do. Yeah,
So
like
what do you do with your creations that you create, the things you create? What do you do with them?
Some of the stuff I just put around the house, but my wreaths, I actually sell my wreaths.
Wow.
I have people at church that wants wreaths, Christmas wreaths, fall wreaths, and things like that. And most of my sports wreaths, just basically anything.
Are you able
and I
to
sell
show us?
them.
Are they close by? Show us one or no? If it's not, don't worry.
No, I don't have. I have pictures. If you go on my Facebook page, I have pictures of some of them that I've did. Like I've done a Kansas City Chiefs wreath. I've done an Atlanta Falcons wreath, but they're doing horrible right now. So I don't think nobody wants a Falcons wreath.
So nobody's buying that wreath right now.
I don't think nobody wants a Falcons wreath at this moment. So I just try to find things that I see on TikTok, like when I find, and I love to cook. So if I see recipes and things like that, it's like, okay, I'm going to try to cook this recipe.
There's so many people doing that right now.
With the quarantine.
Because we're in the pandemic and people are not at work, they're in lockdown or they're working from home. So there's so many people who are, doing like trying making their own recipes and trying different things. So
because I absolutely love to cook. I've been cooking since I was little, and I mostly do all the cooking at home. My niece is always asking, TT, are you gonna cook tonight? Are you gonna cook? I want some like if I do spaghetti, and then I do a lot of planting. I do tomatoes, herbs, rosemary, parsley. I do a lot of planting outside.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep yourself busy.
Yeah. So tell me about being integrated into the into society. Was that hard for you to get back into being a part of the community?
You know what? It actually wasn't, because I had so many people asking me. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing.
No worries.
Okay. I think it's coming back up. No, because when I actually got back into society, I kind of got back slowly. And I had so many people asking me, like, my testimony, asking me, how did you come through? What was it that made you push? With people wanting to know and asking me, it actually, at first, when people used to ask me, I literally couldn't talk about it without breaking down.
Yeah.
I would just literally boo-hoo and cry, because I know, where I went from. I know where I started and where I ended up at. So it was just like, they were like, I don't want you to cry. It's like, I'm not crying for that reason. I'm crying because I made it through. Yes, I cried it because I made it through.
It's gratefulness.
So when I actually got back into the groove of doing hair, going to visit my family in South Georgia, going to people coming to see me, and I was just full. I was so full, and it was like, okay, now I can go. And then once I got to feeling like, I'm just gonna go get me a wig. I'm gonna go be cute, put lipstick on and everything. Like, I'm gonna get back to being Tekela. And that's what I did. I started back going to the clubs. Like, your phone doesn't want to communicate with you right now. But I didn't. Actually, I got back to doing me. I started back going out. But right now, because I think I'm a little older, when I got towards my 30s, I stopped going out as far as like going to clubs or something like that. If I go anywhere now, it's like I have to go to a lounge or something like that. But I don't
of a small gathering.
And I don't limit myself like, oh, I can't do this because I had a stroke or I had brain surgery. And sometimes my family, they are so overprotective.
Yes, they are.
And if I go out, I'm like, well, I'm gonna try a drink. I'm gonna try some wine. My dad's like, no, you ain't. No, you ain't. You're not gonna have nothing to drink, because you take all this medication. I'm like, well, what about diabetes patients? They got a lot of medication. Some are on so much medication, and The doctors never said a glass of red wine doesn't hurt. In fact, they encourage you to drink 1 glass of red wine
It's only
at
one.
night.
You cannot drink 2 or 3. Just one.
Right. But I don't even, I'm the type, if I try to drink something, it has to be something sweet. And I'm a babysitter drinker. I don't drink it. I have to end up giving it. I may take this much and then I have to end up giving it away. Yeah, that's it. So my sister always tells me when I go out, why are you buying a drink? Just why? Because you're not gonna drink it. Yeah, she's like, you're not gonna drink it, so that's a waste of money. So don't buy anything to drink, because you're gonna have to give it to somebody else at this table.
It's true. But you know, Tekela, we are out of time, but I wanted to say that you have braved the last 13 years.
Yes.
You have told us about everything with a lot of peace. You have been positive about every step of the way.
Yes.
You know, you really you gave God the glory for bringing you through this. And you remained with a smile on your face, you know, and you've looked at every rainbow and you've caught every rainbow. And I just want to say, well done. Thank you for sharing your story with us. You know,
thank you guys. Thank you.
You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, and I will be looking into the more videos that you share, and I'm so glad that you all invited me to tell my story.
Please subscribe and
yes.
And definitely you mentioned that you would share this with your pastor.
Oh yes, yes, I did.
I will send you the link. Myself or Alicia will send you the link once we have downloaded and she's edited it.
Okay.
We'll send you the link to the podcast.
Please do, because I had a lot of people asking me what was the link when I posted on my Facebook page that I would be talking with you guys. So I had a lot of people asking me what was the link, and I told them that I would post the link.
I'm so sorry that I've had all these technical issues with my phone.
No, I'm sorry, because we probably would have been through, but I don't know what was going on.
Yeah. It's okay. That's okay. You know what? We made it through. And we heard your testimony. We heard your testimony, and that's what we wanted.
And
I appreciate you.
We all brave today. Thank you so much. Have a great week. And I am Jennifer Wolfenden, and I am going to say goodbye. And Maria, take it away.
Okay. Everybody, we just want to continue to remind you to stay safe, to keep being aware that we are in a pandemic. And yes, we want to go out, we want to do things, but you have to take care of yourself. Self-care is the most important thing that any of us can do right now.
Right.
As best we take care of ourselves, we take care of those around us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So God bless everyone, and we appreciate you coming and hearing us share these inspiring stories with you. And we thank our guest for being such a warrior woman and giving us inspiration to keep on.
Yes.
Right. You know, thank you guys.
Thanks, Tekela.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So blessings, everyone.
Blessings. Bye-bye.
Okay.